What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today I'm going to do a review of the final season of the year. December season is Weapon X, and to be honest, I was not super excited about this season. I did a review for it a few months ago, back when it was data mined, and the cards weren't really speaking to me. So I've enlisted some help for this video. We are going to be joined by smlz from Snap Academy. I will link his YouTube in the video description. He is an incredibly accomplished Marvel snapper and is also pretty impressed with some of the cards coming to Marvel Snap this season. So we are going to hear some of his thoughts, and I'm going to offer some thoughts of my own as well as we take a look at all of the new cards. So the first card to talk about, of course, is the Season Pass card, Weapon X, which is a 2/2. After one of your other cards is destroyed, +1 power. After every third time, improve this effect by +1. This is the first time, I think, that we have a scaling ability in Marvel Snap. We do have the cards that double, which kind of feel like scaling abilities, I guess, right? Because they're going to be more impactful each time. But this is the first time that, yeah, we're like modifying the effect in any way. And that alone just makes this like a very complicated thing to try to parse, I think, which is partially why I wanted to get some other opinions in the booth here to discuss Weapon X. So I guess the first question is, what is this card doing? And then the second question is that worth it, right? So I guess, do you want to try to tackle the first one first?
Yeah, so this card is, to me, like Destroy doesn't really have a low cost like scaler. Like, you're trying to get your death for cheap, but doesn't have a card like, say, a Collector and like a Bullseye discard that you want to get it onto the board early, and it can scale up really, really big. This is what this is trying to be for Destroy. However, I think it runs into a few issues. The early game in a Destroy deck is incredibly, incredibly important. Like, you need to be getting a Destroy down on 3. If you're not getting a Destroy down on 3, you're likely so far behind tempo-wise that you're just going to lose the game. This guy's asking you to spend your entire turn 2 to set up a scaler. In normal, like, classic Destroy, that's not very good. You want to be playing something like Wolverine. You want to be playing like an Agony plus a Deadpool or something like that on turn 2. Maybe even Carnaging a Deadpool. This guy asks you to basically take a turn off, and you're only going to get, what, like 4 or 5 destroys after that? Therefore, this guy's only going to get like +5, +7, maybe +9 on a good day. And that's while like forsaking double digits of power, maybe like 8 on your null, 2 cost on your death. Like, this guy is kind of not worth the trade-off, especially because it's not an ongoing. If it was an ongoing effect, I think this would be like really, really strong, because it's not asking you to take a turn off anymore. But as it stands, I don't know. I just don't see it with this card in normal Destroy.
Definitely not in a normal Destroy deck, which is mainly looking to destroy Deadpool every single turn, right? I think what you said about Collector is really interesting, mostly because I feel like Collector is one of the worst cards in Bullseye Dakin generally. Yeah. So comparing it exactly to Collector, which it is very similar to, I think is bang on. But like, part of me just is like incredulous to the idea that the Season Pass card is just going to be terrible, right? Like, I'm sure that they can make this work somehow, and I think that like what you need to be doing with this is like destroying a bunch of squirrels and Thanos stones with a Killmonger or something. And if you manage to destroy, let's say you destroy like 8 cards, how much power does this get? It gets 3 power, and then it gets 6 power, and then it gets 6 more power. That's 8. That's 1 + 1 + 1, 2 + 2 + 2, +3 + 3. So like, that's interesting. And what did I say that just was? That's not 8 power.
Weapon X himself would be 17 power then.
Yeah. Okay,
really
so
good for a 2 cost.
Yeah, so at that point, that does start to look like something interesting, and that is much more of a deck where you are actually like doing some setup things, and then trying to find some big payoffs in the later turns where you could potentially even play this off curve in a variety of different ways. Like you could play Weapon X plus Killmonger on 5 potentially in a deck like that and maybe feel all right with it.
Yeah,
I mean, not
but
great,
then you're
not great, right?
Yeah, but then you're running into the issue of what did I do my first 4 turns if I'm blowing up my whole board on 5?
Yeah.
The one deck that is slightly interesting to me with Weapon X is Morgan Le Fay.
Yes, yeah, because you need to get those cards back. So yeah, you need to be destroying your cards on like turn 4.
You're destroying on largely 3 and 4 in that deck.
Yeah.
But the kind of the trade-off there is you're destroying a lot of cards that are like 1 cost, and that's a deck that gets death down to cheap reasonably easily. So I think that the break point for this guy is when it gets to that +3. If you can get this guy and get even 1 trigger when it is that +3 scaling, I think if you can find a deck where that works, absolutely it's a Weapon X deck. Just looking at it, the first 6 destroys, he's only getting 9 power total, and then every time after that he's getting +3. So after you get him to a 211, then he starts getting like really crazy. So I think that if you can get a deck that's getting like 7 destroys, I think this guy's good.
Yeah. So yeah, just to break down that math again, because it is, I think, pretty complicated. But basically the first 3 times one of your other cards is destroyed, and your opponent can destroy your cards too, if that is, potentially relevant. They Shang-Chi you or they Killmonger you, your cards are still going to grow for what it's worth, or like locations, right? So the first 3 times it's +1 power, so that's from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, and then it's +2 power for the next 3 times, so that's to 7 to 9 to 11, and then it'll start being +3, so 14, 17, 20, and then I guess 24, 28, 32 if you continue to grow it, which does get out of hand. I think that those other numbers sound like much bigger asks for sure, but if you think about it, a deck that is trying to get a free death is doing 8 destroys. You maybe want to try to think about like how you get to those 8 destroys. I think the easiest way is like I said, a Squirrel Girl, and then potentially, I probably not stones, right? Probably just some other 1 cost cards.
Just like ones like America Chavez, Hydra Bob, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's very similar to like the Deathbird deck
right.
from a few seasons, from like about a year ago at this point, where you have a card like, okay, you're playing Squirrel Girl, you're playing like Mysterio, whatever, getting a Mockingbird out early and then destroying your stuff later. I think that could be a reasonable Weapon X deck, but then the question is like, does it have the other points? And also you're the other problem with this guy is that tech, like this is begging to be teched from turn 2 onward. Like, okay, this is going to be the lane I'm going to Shadow King. If they got a Weapon X down on 2, I think they're going to reasonably invest in that. My Shadow King is going to play for like a 3, 13, 14. I'm going to easily be able to flip that lane.
Yeah, it's interesting to, like, you bring up the, and I forget the name of it, the bird deck. Deathbird. I'm not familiar with that deck just because I didn't play it, because it didn't seem great. And it's, there's like, when a card comes out and it's not fitting in, and it's fitting into like a tier 7 archetype or something like that, and maybe that's generous even for Deathbird, but when it's fitting into a deck like that, it definitely becomes a little bit more difficult to evaluate, because it's not just something that's going to slide into one of the best decks super easily, but that also kind of makes it like a better card and a much more interesting card if it is potentially enough juice to push a new archetype in an interesting way. So I'll be curious to see that for Weapon X for sure. Next up, we have the super premium season pass card, and that is Adamantium Infusion, which is a skill with on reveal, and it costs 4, revive your highest power destroyed card here with its power doubled. This just seems great to me. This seems like a second copy of Phoenix Force, and that's another like sort of fringe deck, but I think definitely better than the Deathbird deck. But it's also just like a second copy of an effect that you want to build around. And I feel like that alone just makes it like incredibly powerful just for the consistency then that strategy would have access to.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even call it a second copy of Phoenix Force. I think Phoenix Force is the second copy of Adamantium Infusion. This card looks really good.
Yeah.
So I was playing around with Phoenix Force, I believe 2 seasons ago now, in a Nimrod Kid Omega deck with Black Panther as the backup line.
Right.
This card, in combination with one other card we're going to be talking about later, definitely combination of that card. This card I think might put Nimrod way back up into like maybe even tier 1 of the metagame, because the fact that you'll be able to, with that other card especially,
I see what you're getting at. Yeah. And then so you bring back a 12 power Nimrod and then destroy it again.
Even then, you Shuri the Nimrod.
Sure.
You destroy it, and then you bring back a 24 power Nimrod.
Right. Yeah.
That sounds really, really strong.
Yeah, with all of these effects that are already doubling your power, just giving you another doubler. And that's the thing is like, those, like, could you design, here's an interesting question. If before Adamantium Infusion came out, you were to design a specific card that deck wanted, like, would it be any different than this? Like, this is exactly what the deck, because it's already playing all of these doublers and looking for exactly this effect. Well,
the other card that I want would be the card that we're going to be talking about later in this
deck.
So I think that this is number 2, but the other one is definitely number 1.
Yeah.
This card makes I think this card will make Black Panther like an actually feasible meta threat again. The fact that you can destroy your Black Panther and then revive it, and it's going to double twice. So let's say you destroy a 20 power Black Panther.
Or even let's just say it's a 10.
And then you
let's just say it's a normal 10 power
even
Panther.
If it's 10, you're bringing back a 40 power Panther.
Yeah, it's a 40 power Panther right there on the board.
For 4 costs.
Yeah.
That just seems really, really good.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah. And so there's like some synergies that you miss out of that Phoenix Force has access to that this does not, but it's going to make up for it with, doing exactly what the deck already wants to do, which is make one really big thing that then, you work on to distribute to the other locations.
Yeah, I mean, it has the word double on it, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah, true. Is this our first skill with the word double? Other than like Herbie's champion skill.
Double, but that's
champion Herbie, I think this is our first doubling skill. So yeah, looks good.
I think it is. There's only a matter of time.
Chamber is a 2/3 with activate +2 power for each 5 cost or higher card you have here and in hand. So it's a weird, I think the text actually makes a lot of sense. I think that the way that I read it might have made it sound a little bit more confusing, but it's going to count your 5 cost cards that are at the same location at it and in your hand when you activate it, and then it's going to get a bunch of power. Thoughts?
So, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually a really big ramp player. I've been playing Hella basically since March. I've been playing Isan as well, basically trying to find a deck that made him work, and I finally did. I am a massive fan of ramp in this game, and unfortunately, I don't think Chamber makes the cut.
Yeah.
The reason being, there's a few reasons. Number 1, this is activate. If this was even a 2/1 on reveal, I think it'd be a better card. Just because in ramp, you need to be getting this guy down on 2. You're not going to have another chance to play.
Right.
Unless you somehow miss your ramper on 3, and then you're already in a lot of trouble.
Right.
So you need to play this guy on 2. So we're looking at under 50% of games is going to be abuse. That's already not a great place to start. Second of all, 6 costs in this game are not very good. So the only like good generic 6 cost at this point is Galactus First Steps. So you have to jump through some hoops if you want to get another one. The one I prefer second to that is Isan. And Isan requires you run, well, generators. And I think the 2 best generators for Isan in the game right now are Iron Patriot and Valentina, who both want to be played on turn 2 before you start doing all your ramp stuff and playing your 3s and your 5s. There really isn't a space for this guy unless they release another good 6 cost. Now, if they do release another like pretty good 6 cost card that's fairly like generic, I can see this guy having a home. However, I am not the highest on this guy. I think that maybe in the future he could be good, but evaluating like the current context of what a ramp list has to be to like meaningfully like exist in like a metagame, this guy just does not support it, because the only other like 2 costs that ramp even uses is Penny Parker, and that's helping you ramp. So this guy runs into a bit of problems. I think that the most interesting part about it is if this guy was like a 1 cost, he'd be really good in ramp, because you can easily kind of fit in a 1 cost.
Yeah, you could sneak that in.
Curve. At 2, he's just 1 cost too expensive.
It's so this card immediately makes me think of Frankie Ray Nova, which I was definitely not sold on when it released. I wound up playing a little bit of it in maybe like Deadpool's Diner when that came back. Frankie Ray Nova was like a reasonable deck for me, and for whatever reason, I think I'm thinking of Deadpool's Diner. Maybe I'm mistaken, and there was a different limited time game mode that I played a bunch of it in. But this is like a card that's going to be. You need to play it on 2 if you're trying to fit it onto your curve. There are some other interesting applications of that I was just thinking of while you were talking here. The first one is 5 cost or higher cards could actually be Mockingbird, Death. That's probably it. We are getting another one this season, but
Sasquatch in there.
Yeah, Sasquatch. So there could be some other ways to play some of these other cards that we were thinking about with Frankie Ray Nova for a little bit that let you play those expensive cards, but also not. And speaking of that, you don't actually have to play the cards. And if you wanted to do something silly with this, you could do Nick Fury and then activate this card, and then is that a good enough of a payoff just to be able to give this another +6? I don't think so. But it is interesting, like you mentioned Iron Patriot and Valentina, those cards actually do combo with Chamber as well, because especially if you can get off multiple activations of a card like this, or maybe you're playing these things in like a Moon Girl, Quinjet sort of thing, and you're copying a bunch of your expensive cards, maybe Chamber can get a little bit of power. I don't think that that's good yet, but it's different.
It certainly is different, and I think this is actually a really cool card, and I really like this design. The problem is it lands on the most awkward spot on the curve I think it possibly can. Like, if this guy was like a 3 cost card,
really?
Even, like, I think that if he was like maybe put him at like a 3-5 or 3-4, something like that, or maybe even make him like a 3-2, where if you have a certain amount of 5 costs, you get +1 energy, something like that.
Sure.
It just feels like 2 cost is so awkward on the curve, and there's really only 1 turn you can play him. Just this guy kind of feels like it's close to a good card, but it's just awkwardly statted.
So
that's my take.
I don't know how much you typically like think about things like this necessarily, but I think that this is sort of a designated clunker slot. The first Series 5 card that comes to Snap Packs every season is if for people that just need to open up snap packs to get their cards regardless, this is something that they're going to wind up randomly adding to their collection later on in the season. Like, if you don't like this card, but you like the cards on weeks 2 and 3, you're going to wind up opening up Chamber accidentally because it's already in the snap packs. And I think that's kind of by design, that sometimes they front load it with a little bit of a clunker and put some really good cards towards the end where you have to get through your chambers in order to get that snap pack discount. So I think he's doing his job as a pack filler in that capacity.
Yeah, I don't know about that because
I don't know the stats on that, but
if you just look at the last, let's look at the last 2 seasons. I mean,
okay,
the best of the Series 5s and the
you'd have to remind me which ones came out first.
Colonel America was the best of those, I think, in the October season, and in November, Superior Spider-Man was a pretty good card, and I think it's going to get even better. So there is one.
Those were the first releases. I don't think Colonel America was top of the zombie season though.
I'm a big hater of Zombie Mr. Fantastic. I'll say that much.
Okay.
For those Series 5 cards. But there is, speaking of Superior Spider-Man, there's one interesting line that this guy does. And this is if you play him on 2, activate Superior on 3. That is ramp.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to try it because I like trying all the new cards.
Is it good? That is ramp that
I don't think so. But it is interesting.
Yeah.
And I
mean,
really
listen, if you can play this card on turn 2, activate it on turn 3, and get plus 4 or plus 6, and you're looking at a 2/9, that's not terrible.
A 2/9, a 3/4, and you're ramping. That's a snap condition. That's the best I can see this card be.
Okay,
it's something like that where it's like, okay, I'm playing this on 2, I'm ramping on 3, I'm doing really well. Again, the problem is not when you're playing him on 2. If you're playing him on 2, he's good. Like, he's very good if you play him on 2. If you don't play him on 2, he's kind of bad. It's kind of like a better version of Weapon X in a sense. Where, if you're playing this guy on 2 and you have, like, a good hand, this guy, you can absolutely snap. Like, you could arguably even get this guy up to, like, a 2/9. Maybe even in some cases, if you wait, a 2/11, 2/13. No, not 2/13, but 2/11 could even be possible in some scenarios.
I feel like you actually are going to activate Chamber on turn 3 more often than not, because by turn 4 you're already looking to play a 5-cost card. I don't hate it as a Superior Spider-Man setup card now.
I don't hate it either. I just I wish that this guy maybe just give him domino text. He's great if you give him domino text. Then you can always play him. This feels so close to a good card, is the thing. Like, I think in the long run, maybe when we get a better idea of the curve, more synergy plays, he will be a good card. This guy just kind of feels like he's close, but right now he just is a little too clunky.
I'll definitely say he's closer than I thought he was after talking with you, and that's exactly the reason I wanted to bring you in here, because I was not feeling super hot on like most of these cards, I'd say, but this is one that I did think was pretty cool. Weapon H, a 7/14. When discarded, put this back with -2 cost. So I don't think that this like immediately slots into all of the there's a few things that I'm just thinking. I just now realized that, like, so Khonshu, you are allowed to discard Khonshu twice, and then the third time you discard Khonshu, that's really bad because then you've lost Khonshu. This you can actually discard as many times as you want. The first 4 times you discard it are pretty good, but then you can keep bringing it back with -2 cost, right? It'll just like stay at 0, and it definitely doesn't have the same ceiling potential as Apocalypse, but it seems like a reasonable card to me. What are your first thoughts here on Weapon H?
So this is the biggest dilemma I have out of any card this season. So I also do YouTube and stuff like that. But I also rated all the cards like in a vacuum. I gave him a rating out of 10. I rated this guy a 7 out of 10, but I recommended a do not buy on him.
Sure.
For the reason, I think this is a strong card with a strong text that will be good. I just don't know what deck it goes in.
Yeah.
Like this feels like this is a really powerful card.
Something that will get broken eventually, but maybe not today.
If you discard this twice, it's a 3/14.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is really good.
That's a lot. I think it's a lot less work than Scar too. But the problem is, if you're foregoing the Khonshu stuff in normal discard, you can't run Gambit. That's really bad. You need to run Gambit in that deck if you want to like compete with it. Second of all, the other deck I was thinking of this was actually Black Knight. Black Knight was the deck that I think this is going to be the best in. But then you run into the problem of my Lady Sif is targeting my Weapon H instead of my Infinite. That's an issue. So this guy kind of feels like he's in between two decks. Like he's worse than Khonshu in Classic discard, but he would still be good in it. But because you're running Khonshu, you don't want to run this guy, I think. Because then you're just making your curve too high. But then looking on the flip side, in a deck like Black Knight, like I don't want to lose targeting on my Infinite. Yeah. So I think this guy's really put like in a hard position. Where it's a good card,
after you've discarded this card once, the second Lady Sif will hit your Infinite instead of Weapon H.
But all you care about is the first one.
Yeah, the first discard's pretty important there. So it does also have. Oh, never mind. I was going to say it has a like different energy cost, so maybe that's relevant for Hela, but it isn't relevant for Hela or Khonshu. So yeah, it's definitely much more in the Apocalypse realm, but it doesn't have the top end of that.
It would be better in a Khonshu less build of Apoc discard, but then you don't get to run Gambit. And that's a problem for that deck needs to run Gambit.
So talk me through that line of logic that you're just saying that like you. So
when you're running Khonshu in Apocalypse discard, any of that stuff, you need the extra energy to be able to keep up with the other decks in the metagame. So you need to run Corvus Glaive. Okay. When you're running Corvus Glaive, you discard randomly. So you could discard your Dracula, you could discard your Gambit. Those are two cards that you don't want to lose, and Khonshu acts as the insurance because you can bring those cards back.
Right. But couldn't you run this plus Gambit?
You would this and Gambit in the same deck?
Yeah.
So the problem then is I think Corvus Glaive discards Gambit, you're done. Like you don't have any interaction for your opponent. It discards Dracula, you lost a ton of points. Right. You could maybe slot this in like the deck itself, but then the problem that arises there, I think, is that you kind of have too many cards that want to be discarded. Actual discards. Yeah. So it would be a scenario of like, maybe you're cutting Scorn for like a Grandmaster, and I could see it working. Like that's possible. I think that's something you can do. My worry is that it's just worse. It could be better, and I could be wrong here, but I think this guy he'll find his deck eventually. Right. But I think he's kind of in between two spaces. He's in between that like normal discard deck, and he's in between that like Black Knight deck, and he hasn't found his home yet. Yeah, it almost feels like there is something different that this deck wants to do. We talked about the Deathbird decks, and this thing being able to get to a low cost so easily makes me feel like I want to Frigga it or Moon Girl it to get like multiple copies of it. But those cards are pretty tricky to play when you're also like discarding cards from your hand. So it gets difficult because you don't want to, same way you don't want to discard your Gambit, you don't want to discard your Moon Girl before like you get to do any of your payoff things with it. Now that's not to say that Bullseye Dakin decks haven't made both of those cards work, right? Both Moon Girl and Frigga and Grandmaster can all see play in those sort of decks that really focused on like the targeted discard, I suppose, with Blade and Colleen Wing. This is certainly not
going to hit Colleen Wing, or Colleen Wing is not going to hit this most of the time before it hits Moon Girl or something. It's possible, I suppose, but yeah, it seems like this is a little tricky. It's a little bit of a puzzle. It seems like a really good puzzle piece that's waiting on some other puzzle pieces down the line.
Yeah, I think the mention of Bullseye is actually very interesting here. Not that I think it's a Bullseye card, but in a sense where, like, okay, what's Bullseye's like biggest weakness? It's tech stuff like Lady Deathstrike, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Shadow King, all that stuff. This guy does not care about any of that. This guy's just 714.
Yeah.
He cares about Shang. And Shang is like non-existent.
Mobius is like the main card that this one is going to care about.
Mobius is annoying, but you're kind of already losing to Mobius anyways.
Yeah, sometimes
this
for
card,
sure.
Maybe in like Bullseye, you're running like a hyper discard package where your ideal turn 6 is like playing a Dakin and then this, and then activating your Bullseye. That could be kind of cool if you can discard this guy twice. He gets down to 3 cost.
Yeah,
that's like legitimately interesting, I think. But in general, I think the same applies for Bullseye. You can probably do it, but it's just making the deck worse.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said. This guy's waiting for some support down the line, but I think undoubtedly this is just like a strong card without a home.
Right. It seems similar to Weapon X in that it is not going. I
disagree there.
Okay,
well.
I was going to say that it doesn't seem like it's going to go into the best version of the best decks that we currently have with that archetype. Just from that perspective.
So I agree there, but I think they're a bit different in the sense that like Weapon X has a problem with the card itself being likely too weak, in my opinion. This guy doesn't have the problem. I think this card is strong.
Yeah, that's fair.
That the current builds of the decks don't fit it, which is similar to Weapon X. But I feel like Weapon X it's more of a problem with Weapon X, whereas this guy is like, it's more of a problem with the decks not being able to accommodate him because they're required to run some stuff. The one deck that I can legitimately think this guy will slot into is, there was a version of classic discard, that I believe was not running Khonshu, and it was running some Malekith stuff. That's interesting to me. Because if you
would
can
Malekith hit this?
No, it wouldn't hit this.
Okay.
But when you would, you just need to discard him twice, because then on like turn 6 you can do, or even before then, if you Modok on 5 and just like Malekith on 4, Modok on 5, and you can get this guy down to a 3 cost, and you can do like, I don't know, Morbius plus this guy, or or your top deck plus Weapon H. That sounds
Morbius
good.
Plus this, or this plus Gambit potentially.
This plus Gambit sounds good too.
Yeah, those seem like some of the better lines that you're going for.
But the problem with that is that you're Modoking on 5. And
right. Yeah.
It's weird. This card is just, if it was like a 5-9 even, I can see this working so much smoother into a lot of decks.
Yeah.
But the fact that this guy is just like so big, like it's a good card.
Yeah.
It's a nomad.
That gives it a higher ceiling for sure, but it's
also lower floor.
It's something that is really tough to play into. I'm thinking like, okay, you Modok and then you but it's hard to say you Modok and then you do something else, right? But like if you Modok and then so Airwalker and Firewalker, those are just on Destroy, right?
Airwalker's on Destroy. Firelord is, I believe, discarded or destroyed.
Okay. So maybe there's like something there, just gives you like a little bit more play.
Maybe, but
I was thinking to like some weird convoluted line where you like get to Morgana to get back your, Morgan Le Fay rather.
To get back the Gambit.
Yeah, to get some other plays for the final turn.
That's great.
Or like to get back the Moon Girl or something. But yeah, it seems like a really tricky piece to try to make work. So I guess it's not. It's an exciting card, but yeah.
I think when I first saw this card, I was like, wow, this looks really good. And the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't know if it goes here, I don't know if it goes there, I don't know where to put this. It's tricky. I think I might cook with Fire Lord discard instead of Confume, put this guy in. That sounds pretty fun.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, where I'm leaning right now is like, I don't know if this can even see any play at all, just because you're like not, I mean, so, okay, here's another angle of it though. If this is just, and we're spending a lot of time on Weapon H here for such a small text box, but
yeah,
what if your plan is to just discard this thing once? Is a 514 like a good card if you're able to just discard this, like turn 3 Corvus, turn 4 this?
Weapon H. It's good. Yes, yeah, that's good. But the problem again is that, okay, would I rather be playing this, and if I don't hit it, like let's say I Corvus, I have 4 cards in hand, I don't hit this. Now it's like, what do I do? Because I need to Modok on 5. I just need a Modok on 5.
Well, I'm thinking like Hella. Like what if this was in the deck instead of Legion? You know,
you can't cut.
Yeah.
There's a 7 cost coming up for Hella that will absolutely slot in. It's not this one though.
That's fair. I'm interested. That's interesting. I mean, that's not this season, right? But
it's next season.
That is. I'm. Maybe we'll have to talk to you again next season because I was not that excited on Fing Fang Foom. I did like a data mine talk on it, but
I'll just give this a quick aside.
Sure.
I don't know if this channel knows, but Dennis is kind of the best Hella player. He does all the stuff. I'm friends with him. He did a stream once. And we pretty much branded the entire stream. This is right after Fing Fang Foom got data mined about Fing Fang Foom.
Okay.
That's how good we think he's going to be in Hella.
Okay.
We think he's going to be... I was talking to him earlier. He thinks he might replace Infinite. So...
Oh,
that's a high bar.
That makes a lot of sense when you say that. Yeah, because you're not playing Infinite anyways, and then you could bring back both Fing Fang Foom plus Odin, and... Correct. That what's actually does seem really good.
Is you can blink Hella into it.
Yes.
It's devastating.
Okay. All right. I'm a Fing Fang Foom believer. That did not take long.
Yeah, it's really good. All right.
The next card here is Maverick, which is a 3/3 activate. Give the next card you play power equal to this card's power. Now, I actually watched on your YouTube channel, you did a small breakdown of, I don't want to sell it short, you did a comprehensive breakdown on the activate archetype. And in there, one of the cards that you mentioned, and one of the reasons I wanted to have you included in this video, is Maverick. And it seems like you are pretty excited about Maverick. I was not, so time to sell me on Maverick as a good activator.
Okay, so there is a problem with hand buff decks. The problem is they don't have any good payoffs to dump their buffs into.
Okay.
And what Maverick is the good card to dump all of your buffs into, because every buff he gets, he doubles. And the other main thing that this guy does is he works as forge timing, basically. So if I just play Maverick on 3 and I activate him and I play my Brood is 15. You're getting a old Galactic proc for 3 cost, but you can also increase that power. So one of the coolest lines I think with Maverick you can do is if you have Maverick in a Captain Carter lane, and then you play a Maverick behind the Carter, and then you play Surfer first. This guy's going to be 9. In a full Captain Carter lane, he's going to be 9 power, so you're already likely winning the Carter lane. And then you get to activate this guy into a Brood, and you just get a 33 power Brood.
So you can do it. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, you don't have to activate a card at the start of your turn. You can activate a card halfway through your turn in some interesting ways.
It's interesting.
Right.
The other cool thing you can do as well with this guy with Jocasta is you can kind of spread out the buffs. So what you could do is you can make this, okay, I'm going to activate Jocasta and Maverick, and then I'm going to buff my Brood. And then I'm going to activate the Prodigy that copied Jocasta, and I'm going to buff another card. It's really cool stuff like that you can do with this guy, too. He is the flexibility that hand buff needed, and he's not only good in like a hand buff activate deck, This guy also makes Zombie Galacti, I think, a real card, because you can divert every single one of your buffs into this guy.
Wow.
Just say he's like a 311. You put him on Galactis at 716.
Wow.
And you're just getting 16 power and a ton of lanes. So this guy is targeted buffing.
Wow.
And that's the main thing.
Yeah.
There is like, there's the only other targeted like buffer in this entire game, I think, is like Silver Surfer, who targets 3 costs.
Right.
And Forge, but the problem with Forge is that he's so narrow because it's non-reveal. This guy being an activate gives you the flexibility and the targeting you need to be good.
Yeah, that you can save it. That, I mean, that's just a thing too, that you can play this early and then put the buffs on something. Yeah, on turn 6 or turn 5 potentially, however you're going to weave that in.
And another thing I've been doing with is Heart of the Cards.
So this is a Surfer card primarily?
It's a Surfer card. So Heart of the Cards is one of the best Surfer players in the world, and he is pretty much mentioned Maverick every single day in like conversations with me since he's been data mined. This is the card that will probably bring Surfer back.
Wow.
This is, in my opinion, the best text you can put on a 3-cost card in this game and have it be like relatively balanced. I am so high on this card. If he flops, I really don't know what went wrong. This guy, it gives you like directional buffing. Like you can basically choose what you want and where you want it. And there's a lot of ways to like buff this guy. You can also Prodigy this effect too, and then Surfer. And then all of a sudden you can double buff your Brood. That's kind of crazy too. And just being a buff deck anyways, you can also use cards in the activate deck like Awesome Andy, and Awesome Andy makes this guy 3/5, but he can also redirect that 3/5 onto Brood. So instead of giving only +2 power, you're giving +2 to Maverick and +6 to Brood. So that +2 that Andy gave was actually a +8. Like, there's so much like compound stuff you can do with the buffing with this card. I think it's just so strong.
Right. Yeah, the ability to take any board buffs and turn them into a Forge style buff is pretty good for Brood specifically.
Yes.
For Brood,
so is the best with this guy. But
that makes a lot of sense because there's other things that don't work as good with Brood specifically, like Awesome Andy, like even, you know, just to be silly, like a Blue Marvel, or no, I guess that's not true, but yeah, because that will still pump up all of the Broodlings and stuff. But yeah, like any way that you can pump this up, if it's you're playing this into Nidavellir or something, or playing it into any other location, Mosh Pit or something, you can get all of those stats onto Brood later on.
Yes. So the main thing is that in a buff deck, you want your buffs to be concentrated on the cards that say ×3, or in some cases ×2. Like Sinister probably goes in the deck. The ×3
Mr.
buffers,
Sinister.
Mr. Sinister, same thing, just less like explosive, but it still does the same stuff.
Oh yeah, it's just another Brood. Yeah, why not?
Is Carter as well. Captain Carter is another ×3 buffer. That's when you'll probably want to activate a little bit earlier, but you can also do that. Another cool thing we already mentioned, Forge into Maverick.
Yeah.
Same thing as Andy proccing on Maverick. So
yeah, and then you get to save it. Yeah. And, I mean, not only save it, but just like multiply your buff 4 times. Yeah.
It's the targeted part of this. It's you get to pick when you're doing it. That's the part that's really strong. And the fact that you can replicate this with your cast is just crazy. Because like you can get, if you have 5 of these buffs, you can Surfer and you can make it a 3/5. You can do all this stuff. One card that I wanted to see, I wanted to see Lasher at a 3 cost, because I was looking for like, what's it like a 3 cost that I can buff and then do like all the activates on. And this is the card to do that on, and it's even better than Lasher.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah,
it's so cool. This is my card of the season. This is, I think, this is the card that I think is going to define the meta in this season. That's my hot take. There's one other like really strong card that could. This is one of the 2 that I think.
So if you have this Jocasta and Prodigy on Jocasta in a location, you activate 1 Jocasta. That gives you
two. It gives you 2 procs.
That gives
The
you 2
Maverick
procs
proc
of
is
this.
one
Okay.
in itself.
Okay.
And the Prodigy proc is an additional 2.
Is just an additional proc of the Maverick. Okay. And then, so if you activate this and Prodigy and Jocasta, you have 5 total procs that you can distribute in different ways.
So if you
in groups of 2, 2, and 1.
So what you're saying is if you put them all on a brood, it's a 51 power brood.
I wasn't even getting there. I was just curious how much you could like split it up in powerful ways, but that is some good quick maths as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that seems pretty good, and that's just with a 3 power Maverick, of course. But yeah, that seems like pretty good numbers. Now I'm not sure if like. Because is that enough that a Jocasta deck would be looking to play something? I do recognize that Jocasta, Prodigy are also 3-cost cards. So is that something that then you think is a good angle to pursue, a Silver Surfer Jocasta strategy? Wow. Okay.
So I already play Silver Surfer Jocasta.
Okay.
It was my most successful deck of the past year. It's the deck that I hit my personal best snap points on.
Okay.
Over 9,600.
Nice.
So I definitely think the deck is good, and I've given it to others showing similar success. So I know that that's already a deck. When you slot this card in, it makes
I trust you.
Entire lines so much easier. Because right now the main like power you have is the Omega Sentinel. And if you don't get the Omega Sentinel, then you're kind of relying on like, okay, I'm going to Awesome Andy and Shaw in a lane. I'm going to get that Shaw to 24, and then I'm going to play a tech card in the other lane and try to swing it.
Yeah.
You've got like a ton of points of your own. Like you don't need to be like reliant on that second tech slot. There's 2 very like evident flex slots in that deck, and this kind of solves one of them. And the other ones, you can swap out the moving package that I had in for like Brood, Captain Carter, and all of a sudden you've got yourself a killer Surfer deck. And something that I think will absolutely be at least near the forefront of the meta. Assuming like Move gets nerfed, which it might not ever, but we'll see.
Quick aside, I should mention, after recording this, I went into Marvel Snap and I clicked the auto deck button, and the first deck it gave me was smlz's Jocasta Silver Surfer deck that they've been tearing it up with at the top of the post Infinite leaderboard. I believe they're currently a top 20 player right now. And earlier on this season, I don't know if I mentioned this during the intro, but they were like 2. They may have even been number 1, but I know that they were at least number 2 at some point during this season. So they have been tearing it up with Jocasta Silver Surfer. I also wanted to do a little bit of a break here to remind you of my giveaway. If you comment on any of my videos throughout this season or next season during December, you will be entered into a giveaway to win a Marvel Snap Season Pass, as well as some PAX bundles. The only requirement is in your comment, make sure you include the word Snap. That way I can find it because I upload content for other games as well. So just make sure you include the word Snap if you are interested in a Season Pass, and I give away 1 a week, and then also give away some for the next season once we get through all of the ones for this season. So that's it. Back to the video. Aurora, a 6/6 on reveal. Give one of your other on reveal cards at each location +2 power. Then repeat for ongoing, activate, and end of turn. This thing seems super busted to me. I think that it basically, I mean, I feel like it invents a new archetype in the same way that like there's a Spectrum ongoing deck. There's just an Aurora, probably mostly ongoing, but there is an Aurora deck that then is just immediately viable, and it just creates an archetype just out of herself. I think that there's, sorry?
I'm gonna say I don't think it necessarily might make a new one.
Okay.
I think it's gonna bring Thanos back to the game.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely, it does seem very Yeah, like it'll bring that back for sure, because the stones are both, I mean, half of them are ongoing and on reveal. And so like realistically, I don't know what points you're always looking to get out of her when you play her, but I imagine like if she's a 6/6 that puts, let's just call it 4 in every location, that's still like baseline a Doctor Doom. And I think we can get higher than that with some deck building things. I haven't thought too much about what other cards she's really good with other than Thanos and maybe like Sam Wilson or something, but I just know she seems really good to me.
So one interesting part about this card is I think you actually don't run Sam with it.
Okay.
I think you're running Zombie Mr. Fantastic to get
Sure.
all those activate buffs.
Sure.
And
yeah.
I think this is the first card that makes me think Zombie Mr. Fantastic may not be that bad after all.
Yeah. I mean,
the
I
main
like
cards that I like as well with this, like Think First Steps. That just seems like a really good combination.
Thing for steps because it's end of turn and it appreciates the buff.
It is end of turn, and you can fill the lane very easily.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That covers one of your end of turn buffs. And then we're talking like I think end of turn is the hardest of these to fill.
Probably.
I think you'll reasonably be able to get all 3 on reveals.
I think Activate might be the toughest too.
The thing with Activate though, there's a
You're just playing like Spider Ham.
We've had like Activate now for like so long that's like
right.
Okay, we can put a Herbie in there. That's pretty generic.
Yeah.
We can put Zombie Mr. Fantastic in there. That's fine. We can find like Chamber maybe. Could be something cool. I guess could work
maybe,
on Curve.
Maybe.
Thanos, Mockingbird, Think First.
Yeah.
Maybe something's going on there.
Yeah.
Chamber might actually be a Thanos card, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think that the floor with this is that you need to be getting all the ongoings and the unreveals. Let's just like start there. If it's giving +4 to every lane,
yeah.
Let's assume that like on any given game, this is giving,
including her own lane, by the way, which is what makes it significantly better than just Doctor Doom. Yeah.
Yes. So let's just think like this card is getting maybe on the buffs. Let's say it gets on average 7 to 8 buffs. That's 14 to 16 points of value. You're looking at a 620 to 622.
Yeah, seems good.
I also rate this a buy. I am high on this card. I think this card gives like the points that Technos needs specifically, like a more interactive version of Thanos. Because although I think Thanos ongoing is good, it kind of gets stat checked by some decks now because it's like no longer as reliable power, no longer as consistent. This also
definitely moves you away from Strange Supreme Thanos too, unfortunately, which is, I guess, one of the reasons that I was previously running Sam Wilson in Strange Thanos, just like the shield is just like another thing to eat. Yeah.
You could. I don't think Strange Supreme's good. The one like problem with Zombie Mr. Fantastic is like, okay, he spawns a horde that's kind of doing nothing.
Right.
Not any of those.
Yeah, the horde is not activate end of turn. Yep.
I think you just put the horde in the lane with like Soulstone, where you have an ongoing and on-reveal in one card.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Pretty decent to me. I think this card will get more support as well. This card just reads as like, this is just better. This is Spectrum for Technos. And Technos
it's just a better Spectrum for Thanos specifically. Yeah.
I think Technos was in like back in the prime Thanos meta this year, like March, April, around the time of the first Golden Gauntlet. Technos' main problem was it didn't have the points. It had the interaction, and it was kind of close. And it was, I thought ongoing Thanos was always the better version, but it was kind of, Technos was tier 1. Like it was pretty good. It just wasn't on the level of ongoing, in my opinion. If this card existed then, Technos might have been tier 0.
Are there any other cards that just are not stones that exist in the game that are allowing you to double dip other than Zombie
Like
Mr.
Electro?
Fantastic? Yeah, like Electro. Yeah.
I gotta think.
Yeah, Electro's
Uh,
the first one that pops to mind. The other ones, like, there's some cards that come up when you search either of them, but aren't actually
mhm.
either of them.
It's like
Like Invisible
Invisible
Woman
Woman first.
or
Yeah.
Mystique is going to come up for both. Interestingly, one card that does come up for both on reveal and ongoing is Wong. I'm not sure. It's not.
That could be cool.
It's
Wong
only an
Aurora.
ongoing card, of course. But like, this is such a powerful effect that like, do you want to double dip into multiple Aurora activations? It makes you opens you up to Cosmo, obviously, but it's not the worst idea.
I like it. Like,
Yeah.
I think that could be cool because it's just it's such a powerful effect.
Yeah.
Like, you really want this.
And
The
it's
one that I
pumping up
really
the
think
Wong.
might-
Same. I mean,
the
we've
one
seen
that-
Wong
the
in
one that I
Spectrum
really
before
think
too.
You could do is Silver Surfer First Steps.
Oh.
Because you're foregoing one of the unrevealed procs on the Aurora lane. So it
Only
it's a little bit
one
harder to
though,
win,
because
but
Silver Surfer
also
First Steps
have it-
has an end of turn
Well-
ability. Yeah.
You're only foregoing the honor field because it is end of turn.
Yeah.
So buff Silver Surfer First Steps, and Silver Surfer First Steps is like, oh, I can buff Aurora.
Yeah.
So it kind of buffs that back.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
That would probably require playing no other on reveals at that location, but you might just not be winning that
There you go.
location. Oh, right, but you don't want to copy something else end of turn. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that this is really good. I feel like it is really only going to Thanos.
I think so too.
There's like, so I have a question though. What is Spectrum's ability? What does Spectrum do? Doesn't she give +2 power to all of your ongoing cards?
She gives +2 power to all of your ongoing cards.
And she's a 7, 6, 8?
Yeah. 6,
So
7.
like, couldn't you just play this in a Spectrum deck and you have 2 copies of Spectrum? I don't think you need a second copy
I don't
of
think
Spectrum.
you want it.
Yeah.
But it's worse because it's only targeting one per location.
Oh, sure. Okay, that's the downside. So you're only going to get 12 points out of this. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is not as good. Okay, for sure. You need
Yeah.
to be playing the Aurora game to make her work. But still.
I'm looking at some of the end of turns as well here.
Okay.
Marvel Boy, that seems pretty good in Thanos. Human
Oh,
Torch
in
First
Thanos.
Steps.
Sure. Yeah.
Human Torch First Steps. That could be something that works.
That one I'm not as sold on, but I hear you.
I'm not as sold either as I am Marvel Boy.
Yeah,
but,
Marvel Boy
I mean,
seems
you're
reasonable.
That could be what happens in the Silver Surfer First Steps Aurora lane. You play the Human Torch First Steps, Aurora procs, it doubles, and then Silver Surfer First Steps. You just have to order it so that Torch goes first, but like, possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll take a few days or so to really build the 12, but I don't deny that this is going to be incredibly strong.
The 12 or the 18.
Yeah.
I think in most
we already
cases,
we already got 8 of those cards locked in. So
Yep.
only 10 left.
So yeah, we're close. And yeah, I think that she seems really good. This is what I mean when I say that I think that they front load the start of the season with some pack fillers, and then by the end, if you want this card, you got to open up a bunch of snap packs or buy it directly. You know?
Yeah. I definitely think we'll get into it, but the last card of the season is always the kind of coolest one.
Yeah, which
This one feels like a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because I think like Maverick and Aurora are actually going to be the two best
For
of
sure.
the Series 5s, and they're really sick, and they help buff existing archetypes. But yeah.
Finally, though, we have Fantomex, which I do think is cool. So it's a 4/6 that has activate. If you've had cards discarded and destroyed, afflict front row enemy cards at each location with -2 power. And I heard you talk about in your video that this ability is very good. -4 points at every location is a good payoff. I agree with that. What I think is the main question that you have to be answering here, though, and you did, I believe, compare it to Spider-Man Noir. because it is, well, other than it just also being a 4/6, it is also very much a puzzle of how do you both discard and destroy a card. I think that the payoff is there. How do you get there, though?
So this is the tricky part with this card.
Yeah.
Because obviously when you see activate, my first thought is Jocasta. And this ability, like the actual, like, without regarding the condition, the actual ability is like perfect for Jocasta. Like, that could work.
Right. Yes.
The problem is the enabling. And the destroyed part is honestly
you compare to Omega Sentinel, which is a -7 for the activate. This is effectively like nearing a -12. Yeah.
It's, if you get it all with Jocasta Prodigy, you win. It's a 466. That's game over.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So the problem with this is it is tricky to activate with that Jocasta stuff. One card that I think is an absolute non-negotiable is if you are a Fantomex deck, you are a Gambit deck. You are 100% of the time running Gambit because that gets your discard done. It doesn't get your destroy card.
You have to destroy your own card. It's if you've had cards destroyed.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I interpret it as well.
So there's two ways you can do it, I think. Number one, Misery, which is the obvious one.
Okay. That's the best destroy effect. Expensive.
We know Misery is good.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but it is good. And then the one that I think is actually going to be the better one in this context is Luna Snow. Because you are destroying that ice cube.
Ooh, okay.
And that does count, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah. No, that makes sense to me. Yeah, melt your ice cube. Okay, that's fancy.
I'll just put it at this. I don't think this is going to be the best version of Jocasta stuff. I don't think you'll end up doing Jocasta stuff with this card. Right. That being said, I think this card is good. I think you'll reasonably in enough games, because you have until turn 6 to do this. It's not like Noir where you really don't have that many turns.
Yeah.
This card you have until turn 6 to do this.
Yeah, you're never activating this until the final turn of the game.
You can draw the Gambit on 6 and you're fine.
Interestingly, you cannot draw the Black Cat on turn 6. If Black Cat is one of the cards that you're looking to have be your discard enabler, drawing that on the final card doesn't work. That was the other card that came to mind for me as just like a free discard. But did you have other ideas on the discard angle too?
Blade
okay, yeah, just one cost discard. Yeah, fair enough.
So the other thing I was thinking of is this is actually
Blade on turn 6. Play Blade on turn 6, and it's just a 1/3 that activates us.
On the next card we're covering.
Oh, okay.
That could work pretty well with Fantomex.
Sure. Okay.
But the main thing I think of is this is a Gambit Luna Snow card, and you probably want to run one backup for each, maybe two. We'll say probably Hood Misery stuff. If you're at all familiar with the player Fudge, his decks are like perfect for this because he runs Gambit and a lot of them. He runs Hood Misery, all that stuff. He used to be a big build player. When that was still a deck before they killed Yondu, but like. Yeah, that kind of style of deck. That seems
right.
Like perfect
okay.
for this archetype. And there's another card we'll get to later that I think single-handedly makes running this archetype worth it.
If you're just doing that stuff, if you don't have, so like the Fudge deck isn't necessarily also going to be a Jocasta deck, though, right?
No.
And if you are not doing all of the Jocasta things, are the hoops worth it? If this is, I guess, what does that make this? It would still be a, 418. So
it's really good.
That's still pretty good, huh? Yeah.
So I think that I'll just get to it later, but this archetype also gets to run a 2/9, and the 2/9 can be played any turn. Pretty much. Yeah. So I think those two cards alone make this archetype worth it to run. I think this is a bit of an interesting card from a buyer's guide perspective. If you're cool with playing decks that may be very different than normal decks in terms of like play lines and stuff like that. If you're looking for a new Snap experience, I think this guy's a buyer. Yeah. If you're looking to improve your existing decks or only get the most meta cards, I don't think you buy him. I overall recommend a buy because I find that I enjoy Snap more when I'm playing with a ton of different decks and a ton of different cards and not
Right.
necessarily like the best cards in the game.
It's not going to be a buy for like newer players that are looking to fill out their collection necessarily, because this is such a reach, and it might also wind up being a miss, right? So like
It could be.
yeah.
I'm not as confident in this card as I am Maverick.
Yeah.
It's like Maverick, I really can't see a world where he's bad.
That's
Aurora,
fair. I'm sold on
really
Maverick. I am not yet
can't.
sold on Fantomex. But
I'm not entirely sold on this guy. I'm like 85% sure he's going to be good. But I don't think he's going to be great. I think this guy's going to kind of be occupying a low tier 2 space in the metagame for a long time. Where in the sense that like he's the worst of A tier or the best of B tier. Like there'll be some like small pocket metas where this is like destroying everything. And there'll also be some like small pocket metas where this is like an unplayable deck.
It also seems like this will be a few people's like what do you want to call it? Like
a one-trick thing?
Yeah, sort of like a one-trick sort of thing that they really like, but that falls out for most people.
I can see that happening as well. I'll just put it this way. I don't think this card is bad. And I don't really see how this card can be bad. I think it's either going to be good or it's going to be mediocre. I don't think it's going to be great, though. And I don't think it's going to be bad.
There's also really interesting implications if you think that Silver Surfer specifically is going to be an archetype definer, which I am on board with right now. Specifically the implication of afflicting the front row enemy cards at each location, hitting that Captain Maverick. Carter, hitting Maverick, exactly. Those are interesting things to hit for sure.
If that ever happens, Surfer will slot in Luke. This guy's like
that's the worst part about this card too.
That's why I can't say he'll be great. Even if it all works like perfectly, the problem is you're just dead into any.
If this card's too good, it's terrible. Unfortunately,
because then everyone's just running Luke Cage. Week 1 of this, everyone's gonna be on Cerebro 3. Because that deck runs Luke Cage. And beats Fantomex to a pulp. So. Give it that Luke.
That is definitely a really awkward part of Fantomex. But I wanted to get your opinions on this specifically because it wasn't something that I was like super wrapping my head around, this and Maverick. And I know you were hype on the activate cards here. So we also have Marrow releasing, and this is our straight to Series 4 at the beginning of the season card. Is that right?
Not at the beginning of the season.
Oh, not at the beginning. This is coming like halfway through the month even.
Yeah, I believe it releases sometime halfway through the month.
Yeah, I think it was December 18th, but
I believe
I have it up on the screen for the viewers right now so they can see it.
This is in a snap. This is in a snap pack as well.
Right. So Marrow is a 2/3 that says when discarded or destroyed, randomly split -6 power among enemy cards. So this is like the Uncle Ben for destroy decks. Specifically, it is a card that you can destroy and its value lies elsewhere, which mostly I feel like means you can bring it back with Morgan Le Fay. And that seems to be the first thing, but it is also just like value if you are playing a Modoc. It's just something else that you get to have happen.
6 points of value. This card is, I think, a Fantomex card as well.
Okay.
Because that's a good thing to discard. Like, you're not mad at all about discarding a Marrow. The other thing I think is in the truer home of this, I think is Morgan Le Fay. I think it's a bit awkward because it costs 2, but I struggle to see it being worse than Weapon X in that deck. So maybe it's just good anyways. This is a card that I'm personally excited for because I think it's really cool and it goes in a lot of the Morgan decks that I liked playing. So
it's very similar to Bucky Barnes too. Like that you get to destroy something and then you get 6 points of power, but probably worse.
Overall though, I think it's better than Bucky. but that's not a high bar.
Right. Yeah, fair.
When I think about this card, I just think about Shadow King and Luke Cage. Kill it, which is, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Shadow King this season.
Yeah, I don't think that card's going anywhere just yet.
But you kind of see this card and it can be like, okay, it all concentrates into one thing, and it could either be like really good, like, oh, my Maverick's not giving -3. How did that happen? And you could also get into a scenario of, oh, my Uncle Ben is now a 1 -4. I wonder what I'll do.
Yeah. That's the thing. Negative power in a
card
season around Destroy is kind of just like, okay, sure. I'm just going to destroy those things anyways.
I think this card is decent. I wouldn't issue a buy on it. If you like Morgan, sure, buy it. If you want to do the Fantomex stuff, buy it. Do I think this card is necessarily going to be like front of the meta? I'm not even confident it'll make the best 12. Although I do think it's like a fun card. I think this is the mid of the season. This is the card that's like, it's not good, but it's also not bad. It's kind of just like in the middle there.
I think it might be a little under that. I think I'm not super excited to play this or try to pick it up, but it also seems, the main angle that you're getting out of this is if there is a discard deck that wants to just be discarding a bunch of cards, and like it is just so like either it's playing MODOK and trying to discard a bunch of cards, or it is playing the zombie where you discard a card each turn, and like then this is just like value for something like that to hit potentially. But
maybe this goes in the Weapon H deck with Zombie Power Man.
Yeah.
Maybe that happens. I can see it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy.
We didn't really talk about Zombie Power Man when discussing Weapon H, mostly because I don't know if I own Zombie Power Man. It seems reasonable.
There's an interesting world where we could end up with an Apocalypse-less discard deck with no APOC, no Dracula, and we're running Khonshu, Marrow, Weapon H stuff. That could be a deck. This
will get into the Khonshu pool.
It does.
So that's a good or bad thing, depending.
I think it's a decent thing.
Because a lot of things that you're trying to discard because they come back to your hand. So discarding something, getting an effect, and then still being able to Khonshu it back, because you can't Khonshu back the X-23 or Wolverine either, right?
Yeah. I think that is more interesting than a lot of stuff. I think that could be a cool deck. Maybe I'll have to build that when we get access to both of those cards.
Yeah.
But I think this card it's cool. It's interesting. I'm a fan of the card. Do I think it's good though? Not really. This just seems like a card I'll personally enjoy.
I like, when discarded or destroyed, it's starting with the same text from Wolverine, but just from like a flavor perspective, that's kind of cool. Also, I think kind of cool from a flavor perspective is Wade Wilson, which I believe we are getting as part of Grand Arena. And this is a 2/2 that says, when destroyed, replace this with a 1-cost card from your hand or deck with +1 power. And so the first thing, obviously, is that when you destroy this, it can become Deadpool. Just purely from like a flavor perspective, that is exactly what they are reaching for. And honestly, it's not the craziest first place to look either. Like, tutoring out your Deadpool in a deck that is destroying cards is not crazy. I don't think that's going to be the best thing that Wade Wilson transforms into, but I don't know. This seems like a cool card to me.
I'm not the highest on this guy.
Okay.
I think he's pretty bad. So the main reason I think this card is bad is, let's look at Normal Destroy. Normal Destroy, I think at least the best version likes to run 6 1-cost cards.
Yeah, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, so you're not tutoring out your Deadpool.
Yeah.
You're tutoring out a 1-cost card.
Yeah.
It's a decent thing to be doing, but I think the main problem is that it says hand or deck. It's not like an Airwalker in the sense that like, okay, my entire deck is built around this 4-cost card. I need to just get it out however I can. That's like good. Your entire deck in Destroy is technically built around a 1 cost, but it's built around like multiple. Like you need to be running in Destroy, in my opinion. If you want to be like pretty good running Destroy, you need to be running X23, Deadpool, Nico Monaro, Moira. Those 4 are like non-negotiables. You also probably want to be running Agony to double your Deadpool even more. You also probably want to be running Headpool to even get more scaling off of that. Now we're, instead of like looking at it as like a tutor perspective, now we're looking at it as maybe I get a deck thin. Maybe. I don't think this card is as bad as I've heard people saying. I've seen people rate this a 1 out of 10. I don't think it's a 1 out of 10. But I rated this a 3.5. I don't think this card is good. I think in Morgan it's interesting. And the
Now,
fact
what
that you
about
destroy this
other?
and get a 1 cost on the board, that sounds from your it sounds more interesting to me than this card in normal Destroy.
What about now? I do think that because it gives the +1 power to the card that it gets, that also very much leans into the Deadpool of it all. But what if you didn't go for Deadpool with this? Are there other good 1 cost cards that you could tutor? Like when you see, what is the location where you draw a 1 cost card? I'm forgetting it right
Hell's
now.
Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen featured location. What is your go-to deck? Like,
I don't know.
okay.
Agony for a Man Spider deck, maybe?
Sure. Okay.
It just feels like all the other synergies with like 1 cost cards kind of just, they don't like destroy. So this kind of card is kind of in a weird place where it's just not an effective tutor. Like if Morgan Le Fay only cared about discards, for example, and Airwalker was a destroy effect, Airwalker would be nowhere near as good. Morgan would be nowhere near as good because they don't work together.
Right.
This card only works with a destroy tutoring on the 1 costs.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit awkward. If this guy pulled from deck exclusively, I think he's really, really good. But the fact that he can pull from hand too makes him just not
on
a consistent deck.
Airwalker, it's better that it can also pull from your hand.
Because it's a 4.
Because it's a 4, but on a 1, you'd much rather it just say deck in this scenario.
Correct. Now, I think this card is better than people are giving it credit for, though, although I don't think it's that great.
So I think that, the other deck that you could potentially look at, it's definitely not going to be as good, but I'm thinking, so when I hear Hell's Kitchen, it's been a while since I've like really cared about the featured locations, but Hell's Kitchen I have always found was really good to just grab your Quinjet. And there's probably another good 1 cost card somewhere, but Quinjet is definitely one. What's that?
Can't really think of another one that's as good as Quinjet. Maybe I guess a Squirrel Girl and Zoo, but then again that
seems a little sketchier for sure. But I did briefly think about, okay, Quinjet plus Destroy, there's like the Moira X Victoria hand decks that like is maybe getting you somewhere. I don't think that that's great still, but
I think it's the most interesting thing I've heard so far about this card.
Yeah, well, thank you. But that's where I was thinking, like maybe you could use this to tutor up some like key 1 cost cards rather than actually looking for Deadpool, which is a deck that plays a bunch of 1 cost cards and probably honestly just doesn't want to play a 2 cost card. No, I mean, that's maybe Destroy could play this over like Wolverine in some cases, but even then probably not.
But even then, the problem with that is a lot of Destroy decks have cut Wolverine already. So there's no Wolverine to cut.
Yeah, so that's true. That's very true.
You're kind of just in a rock with a hard, between a rock and a hard place with this guy. Just the problem is, I don't think they can make this say deck. Yeah. Because then, especially at like lower levels of the game, obviously I'm talking from like the very top of this because I've been playing at top of ladder for a few seasons now. Like I can see +1 draw and destroy. Destroy's already not a bad deck. +1 draw and destroy, really good. Like You're drawing your death more often, drawing your no more often, and that is almost certainly enough to get the Shuri nerfed.
Yeah.
So they can't really say this guy's only from deck, but when they put the hand there, it kind of gets a little awkward. It just seems like a card that's kind of stuck between two places.
Yeah. I'm going to keep my eye out for other interesting one-cost cards that you'd potentially want to build around. Something like Sauron. That's also a deck that plays a bunch of one-cost cards, though. So, but like, is it all right to turn this into an Ebony Maw, and then it's basically like a terrible Bucky Barnes? So yeah, probably not. What are other good one-cost cards? I'm not sure.
See, the problem is there's really no like good like one-cost.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting one-cost cards. I feel like I should load up my game right now and just see if there's any other cool one-cost cards that would be fun to tutor. But yeah,
it just doesn't work.
Okay, you get Clea, you get a free Flames of the Faltine, so that's cool.
It's cool. Is it good?
And isn't there more Clea support coming at some point?
Next season.
Okay,
a card that might make Clea unbelievably strong.
Okay, I don't remember exactly the details of that, but I remember doing that or looking at it in the
Shang-Chi Master of the Time.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. That seems good. And that's always in your hand. So like a tutor for Clea, and then you have the pump for Clea every turn. That seems good.
I think there's a lot better things.
Oh, I got it. Deafening Chord. Use this to go get Deafening Chord. It's a tech card. But Black Knight. Okay, I just saw Black Knight. That's like a pretty reasonable build around.
Maybe with like, I guess you could. We'll talk about it later. I guess you could do like. I'll say it now. I guess you could maybe do it in like Fastball Special Black Knight.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, I don't know. This card just seems like.
Just get you thinking.
We're jumping through like 6 different hoops to make this guy sound playable.
Yeah, but I get excited a little bit when there's a bit of a tutor idea, because it is going to, while it's not going to be, I'm talking maybe like a tier 9 deck or something that just sounds fun to play, like a deck that can always find your Black Knight is like just interesting, if nothing else.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. So we have 2 more cards that are coming from a new event. The Team Clash, sort of a new take on Grand Arena. The first one you did bring up earlier. You mentioned a 2/9 to go along with Fantomex. That is Wild Child, a 2/1 with ongoing +4 power if you've discarded a card, +4 power if one of your cards has been destroyed. I think this looks pretty cool. I'm not sure exactly, like, this is another thing, this archetype is not actually, there's no deck for Wild Child to slot into, but is it enough of a payoff just having access to a 2/9? Those are good stats.
So my short answer is yes, absolutely. And also you should definitely play this game mode, because these 2 cards might be the second and third best cards of the season when it's all like said and done. Wow. In my opinion, at least. I am very high on this card. So 2 cost has a problem in Marvel Snap. The problem is that the best 2 cost stat stick in the game is Lizard. And Lizard is not that good. This card, even if you just do one of the 2 effects, it's a 2/5.
Yeah.
That's already baseline like decent.
Yeah.
That's decent.
Yeah.
It's not +8 if you've done both. It's +4 for each. So if you've done even one, this is a 2/5.
Very good point. Yeah.
That's easy to do.
Yeah.
And if you get the other one, it's a 2/9, you're looking at 4 cost level power for 2.
Right.
You're getting it 50% off.
And it's important to realize, like, Lizard is
you can play this on turn 2 or turn 6. It's still going to be a 2/9.
Yes.
You don't have to play this on 2. You can play this late. You don't have to play this late. You can play it early. This just seems like a card that decks will go out of their way to make work, just because of how good 2/9 is in relation to all the other 2 cost stat sticks. This is by far and away the best one. It's not even close. That isn't like hyper specific to an archetype.
Like
Morbius.
Morbius or
I guess
The Goliath, is that the name of the 2/1 that
Goliath.
counts your
Yes,
ongoings?
Goliath.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that this is yeah, it definitely is a standout card. I am curious on exactly what people are going to try to do with it. Because I don't know. I think this card is actually asking like a decent amount from you. I think that it is worth it.
Yes.
In the same way that like ongoing was not really a deck until Goliath was printed, right? And then Goliath really made ongoing go from
Goliath, Thanos was not a deck until Goliath was printed. Is how I better say that.
But there's, I mean, people play Goliath just like Moon Girl and stuff like that.
Yes, I've played that. That's good. Goliath was a very powerful card. This card kind of fills the same vein, and since like, yeah, you kind of need to build a deck around it, but it is 2/9.
Right.
I think so it's a little bit less of a deck building restriction than Goliath, and it's asking you to do stuff that's kind of good. Like it's run Gambit. That's it. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I want to run Gambit. That card's almost Hood Misery. Sign me up. That card's great. Luna Snow. That's like my favorite card. Love that. Love Luna Snow decks.
Luna Snow is a free way to turn on these destroyed effects. Is pretty clutch. Yeah.
It's clever. It's very clever. There's also some cool stuff that you can do specifically because this guy costs 2. Like, as a finisher, you could do with 1 Luna Snow energy, you destroy your Luna Snow Ice Cube. Juggernaut Demon Wild Child.
Yeah.
That's a turn 6.
Yeah. It's like 15 points somewhere and then a Juggernaut somewhere else.
The main reason, though, why I think this card is very good and better than Fantomex, and I'd even rate this card on, like, I gave this card, I probably jumped the gun a little bit, but I rated this card as like a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's really good. Yeah. The fact that the failsafe is a 2/5. The failsafe is already like the best 2-cost stat stick.
Yeah.
That's like even semi like kind of applicable. Like this card, I cannot stress enough. This card fills a void. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel to like do something else. It fills the void of 2-cost stat stick. There's no good ones in this game.
I think it breaks into the top. I don't know. I think there's a lot of good cards this season. If we go back, I mean, the Adamantium Infusion, Maverick, and Aurora, I think are the top 3.
The lowest I can see this card going, like in like a worst case scenario world where discard destroy is very hard to do, and it's a lot harder than I'm thinking it's going to be. The lowest I can see this going is number 6 this season. And even then, that's above cards like Weapon H, cards like Chamber, cards like Marrow. It's better than all those cards, I think. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
The highest this can go, I think, is number 2.
Okay.
I think it'll end up at 2 or 3. Like, I think it's going to be really good. I don't think this card is going to be better than Maverick in any like world, but I do think this card's going to be very good.
Solid. All right, and the other card coming to us with the Team Clash event is another card, like, if only for the fact that you've already like referenced this card a few times throughout this video. Like, I think this is also a card making the top 5 here.
Yes,
Fastball Special.
Absolutely.
This is a 2-cost skill with on reveal, destroy your highest power card here to afflict an enemy card with that much negative power. And I initially was not like super hype on this card until I realized, I guess until I realized how good it is. It's like there's not another way to put that. But this card just does. It is not as good as Carnage, I don't think. I don't know. It could be. It could be.
I disagree.
It could just be better than Carnage. You're right.
Okay.
And it's cheaper.
First of all,
it's just a 2-cost like Venom.
It's a 2-cost destroy. It's a 2-cost targeted destroy.
Yeah.
So what you can do with this, you can destroy your Nimrod for 2 costs.
Yeah.
Guarantee. Like targeted that, do that, and then bring it back with something else as well. Obviously, Carnage might be like a little bit better there, but the same thing goes to 2-cost targeted destroy there. You know what you can also do with this? You can targeted destroy your Black Panther.
Right.
And then bring it back with Adamantium.
Right.
And It's great. You can, and what this is also doing, you're not losing any power from. You just fire it off and it goes boom.
Yeah.
It's not like Carnage, and since you're losing the power in that lane, you're still getting the power in that lane.
Right. Yeah.
It's so strong. This card is, I think there will be decks. We've already talked a little bit about Fin Fang Foom. Fin Fang Foom and Infinite. You discard that card, you bring it back with Ghost Rider, then turn 6 to Fastball Adamantium.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, fun. You're brewing here. You were brewing. Yeah. I mean, I just think this okay. I think baseline, this card can go into existing Destroy decks, and you can feel pretty good about it.
Absolutely.
It's a Destroy effect that, like, worst case scenario, you can play it on your Deadpool on turn 2 and start to destroy your Deadpool every turn and go down that line. And that's just like a fairly like vanilla thing that it can do. It doesn't destroy multiple things. That's the trade-off between this and Deathlock. But what it does get to do is sort of Venom and still account for the power that you're destroying and care about that. I also just noticed, so you said playing it like on a Black Panther, and I thought you can actually use this to destroy multiple things if you play it onto a Wong location. I'm not sure that that's great, but like it is something. And
it is not revealed. It does work with Wong.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I do think that this card is very good. It just seems like this is one of the missing pieces Destroy needed. I'm a little bit scared that this is going to make Nimrod everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially because I already think that deck wasn't far off. So we will see. All I'm going to say this season is Shadow King.
Get some
Shadow King. Shadow King in every single deck.
Yeah.
That
to shrink their cards and to get rid of the affliction on your cards both. I think the main thing about this though is just the efficiency of the rate, because we did get Kid Omega as a 2-cost destroy card, but that's not really a 2-cost destroy card. It's an activate card, but having another just like dedicated card 2-cost on reveal destroy something there is really good for the decks that want that thing.
Yeah, 2-cost destroy is pretty good, especially when it's targeting the things you want it to.
Yeah, it's gonna target the things that you want it to destroy. It's going to allow you to then more consistently create curves that rely on this or Carnage plus a 4 on the final turn of the game, which is not something that you can always rely on in like those Nimrod decks, because they sometimes need to play Venom to destroy their cards. So this gives you just like another angle to do all that stuff. And I think that this card's like very innocuous looking and almost seems like it's not what you want to be doing, but I think it very much is.
Yeah. So I'll just state the obvious here. If you Fastball Special and then Adamantium a card on turn 6, you're effectively tripling that card's power in one turn. So if you spend, like, say, I have a 5/10 on my board, I'm going to not lose any power in that lane, and I'm going to bring back 20 in another.
Right.
So I'm taking the 10 and I'm bringing it to 30.
Yeah. So it triples it. Yeah, and that's only if you are not bringing back something good that's going to double again, like Black Panther or Nimrod and all that stuff. Yeah.
So this is all I'm gonna say is you better play Team Clash. This
get these new cards.
I think this is the best in LTM rewards have ever been. Even going back to like Cassandra Nova from Deadpool's Diner.
Okay.
When Aeroshem was like everywhere.
That was really good. That was a
really good card.
Yeah.
These two are both Fastball Special and Wild Child.
The fact that you get 2 of them, so they are really pushing this new game mode here, giving you 2 new cards.
Really strong cards as well.
Yeah.
It's not like Grand Arena where they're giving you Wade Wilson, who's probably the worst card of the season. No, they're giving you 2 of like the 5 best cards this season.
Yeah. No, this looks cool, and I think that is a good note to end on here with some powerful cards there. I guess, yeah, so your pick of the season, sounds like it is Maverick, regardless of how you split it. I think I'm still on Aurora for my pick of the season, but I don't know. Maybe Adamantium Infusion. Maybe, yeah. There's a lot of good ones. I think this is. I kind of went into this.
Either really good or really bad this season. There's a few that are kind of in the middle.
I went into this and I reached out and I was like, I kind of felt like I needed help getting excited about this season, because I just, like, on the surface level, there were a lot of like confusing cards and cards that didn't immediately seem appealing. Fastball Special was one of them, and Maverick was the other one that I think are very easy to overlook, if that makes any sense. Like, I think that, yeah, I'll just say for myself, the first time I read them, I was just like, okay, these are just Marvel Snap cards, but they do have opportunities to be really, really powerful new additions.
Yeah, I think the activate, the Maverick text, the first time you read it, you're like, oh, this is kind of fine. But then you think, and you're like, this is targeted buffing. And then when a card is on the level of power that I think it's going to make Zombie Galacti a playable meta threat.
Yeah.
I am like, okay, this card is like insane.
That's, like, I mean, that's enough to get me excited. Zombie Galacti. So I'm here for that one. Let's do it.
Yeah. This card is good. Maverick is unequivocally my pick of the season. My second pick is probably Fastball, and then I'd lean into the Fantomex Wild Child stuff before hitting Aurora, because I think Aurora might struggle a little bit in terms of points, but I can definitely see Aurora being the card of the season.
For sure. Cool. Well, thank you very much for joining us here, and we'll see what winds up being the card of the season ultimately. But for today, that's going to be it for us. I will have a link to smlz channel in the video description. And yeah, thank you again for joining us and chatting Marvel Snap. Cool.
Great.
Very